Hey YouTube, warbles on a lot here. We are now looking at the fire line at 40 powers magnification. And what we can see is kind of like the reason for the diminution in the amount of smoke. It's like what a difference 2 hours can make. Because about an hour ago, when I arrived home from my reconnaissance, I commenced to upload my video, and behold, there were helicopter noises. Well, it sounded like a Bell Huey, an Iroquois, and it was making water bombing noises. And it made quite loud water bombing noises for quite a while. And I couldn't come out and video it because I was waiting for my phone camera's battery to recharge on one phone while I was uploading the previous video on the other phone, and therefore thus and because such is life. But from what I can see, there's still some fairly persistent smoke, and I'm suspecting that the water bombing Iroquois is currently back at the Glen Innes airport, either picking up more kerosene or deciding to go back to Armidale because they've done what they need to do to prevent the fire that's over there from impacting on any buildings or perhaps control lines. Sorry about this, but I'm sort of adjusting the rubber bands in real time. And it is kind of like my faint, forlorn, perhaps, hope that at some point in the proceedings the Iroquois may return, because I could just barely see it at the start of this video. So what I'm going to do is put this thing on hold and see whether the Heligocopter comes back to do some more firebombing. If it helps, I can still hear it in the distance. Well, I don't know whether you can see it on the video, but I can see it in real life. There goes the helicopter. Ah, she blows. $550 to drop $21 worth of water onto the fire. The technological cure. Okay, he's going down into the valley to dip the bucket, I think. That is my belief. Well, there's another one going north. It sounds like a Huey. There's a Bell Iroquois that lives at Armidale, 60 miles to the south of here. I'm supposing it may be the same one flying circuits, and I'm not seeing the other side of the circuit. And it's so far away that I'm only hearing it after it's disappeared from view. So isn't it a good thing that warbles on a lot has been paying attention to the horizon. So apparently, because society still possesses the resources wherewith to complete such a feat, what's going to happen is that somebody is going to collect money from the taxpayers, and they're going to pay a helicopter charter company to fly around out there dropping water on the fire. And as the story goes, if you own the fuel, you own the fire, and if you start the fire, you own the financial cost of suppressing and fighting and controlling the fire, and you also own the cost of whatever damages are done to property by the fire that you've permitted to occur. So I feel really, really, really sorry for whoever it was who was welding in a paddock and didn't think to have a watering can beside him with which to put out any sparklies, which the welder might let loose. And you know, I'm not trying to be hyper sanctimonious here. If I use my brush cutter with a steel blade on it in conditions as dry as they are, I have a 10-litre watering can, and every time I move more than 3 metres from the watering can, I move the watering can. Because if you've got 10 litres of water and you've got a fire the size of the palm of your hand, you can fix that. If you light a fire and you haven't got any water and the fire gets out beyond you, it might take you 15 minutes to get to a telephone to let somebody know. And by that point, 10 mile an hour, 14.6 feet per second, the wind can take your fire a very long way, especially if the country is dry and cool. So, what have we got here? Oopsie. Try about there with more magnifications. Whoop, there we go. Just about missed it because I was warbling on rather than looking at the horizon and searching for heligocopters. But yeah, there's a Heli out there and it's on about a 5-minute circuit, and it's going to the bridge on the Emerville Glen Innes Road and dipping its bucket and coming back down to Bullock Mountain. Yeah, probably half a minute to dip the bucket, half a minute to drop the bucket, 2 minutes each way. And they're fearfully expensive, Hueys. So I hope old mate who was welding in a paddock and didn't have a bucket of water, let alone a watering can, I hope he's got really good fire insurance. Because pretty much if you light the fire, it's your responsibility. That's why I have a watering can when I play with my brush cutter. Okay, well I just saw it disappearing going south. Managed to miss it as it was on its southward traverse, but I saw it. You'll just have to believe me, I can hear it too. There you go, I just missed the bloody thing again. It's now going south. As you can see here, I'm in clear air. The smoke starts sort of halfway to my visual horizon. So I'm really kind of lucky. Any embers that are in the smoke cloud are going well to the north of me. You see it once again disappearing into the valley to pick up more water. Man, this is really shitty footage. Very, very difficult to get at 40 powers. But anyway, that's the story. The taxpayer is spending $2,500 an hour or so, maybe $5,000 an hour to fly an Iroquois, aka a Huey, flying heli-tac missions over Bullock Mountain. All of which makes me breathe a great big sigh of relief and maybe even have a beer and relax. Warbles on a lot to YouTube. The drama is not actually yet over. The wind is still blowing, but somebody's out there able to drop a ton of water at per each return load. So wherever the fire tries to break out, yeah, there's somebody who's able to hold it, and it's trying to run downhill. And fires are not really good at running downhill, even with the wind behind them. So despite the dryness and the desiccation and the browning off of the canopy and the 36.28 tonnes of bushfire fuel to the hectare on 3 sides of the hut, perhaps all is not lost, and I will not have to resort to heroic measures like lighting a backburn and pushing it off with a leaf blower. But anyway, that's the difference that 2 hours in a helicopter makes. Warbles on a lot to YouTube. Ciao.